conversation live on YouTube. So I would like start our conversation saying the basic rules. I know everyone here already know, but maybe people on YouTube didn't know. So what is TNT? TNT, it's a conversation platform for beginners, intermediate, and advanced English speakers. And the live conversation meetings are for all levels. So this is not a class. I'm not a teacher, and I'm not here to teach anyone anything, okay? Our philosophy says we will develop ourselves and our fluence became more confidence as a English speakers. So please, everyone, be respectful and don't correct anyone. Okay. Good morning, Juliana. Juliana, it's your first time here, Juliana?
In the morning, yes.
All right. I was talking a little bit about this before we start. How many women we had here today? You know, it's a holiday on Brazil. It's Carnival, and I'm so. I was thinking maybe it will be only me and other one, I don't know, but guys, everyone here, it's had my respect, you know, because wake up early in a holiday, I know it's how people say this in Portuguese, feriado facultativo, you know, and maybe you had to go to work or not, but congratulations, be here so early. It's amazing. Guys, to start our conversation, I will send the questions on chat, but we are in more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are in 7 people, so I had to split in small rooms because other way our conversation isn't so productive. And I send the questions on the chat, and we can start. I will start splitting the rooms right now, okay? So please be a little bit patient because I'm not, isn't something I had a lot of experience doing this. So I will create other one break room. Vou colocar aqui. Bell will go to the other room because you had experience and you will help me, okay? Amara. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And maybe. Okay. So guys, before I open the break room, I will say the first questions, it's a regular class, okay? We will talk a little bit about us, if we do job interviews, how often, what was the last interview you made in your life, and those kind of things. But from the question number 7 to the end, the questions, it's more to make a simulation, okay? So when you will answer the questions, forget you are talking with other guys here in TALKNTALK. Imagine yourself talking to a HR guy doing an interview, you know, the job you always dream to work, the job, it's amazing for you. So try to be this kind of thinking, you know, mindset. It's a coach word, but try to do this because this way you can train this. And 10 minutes before our conversation end, I will call everyone to my room and I will give to you guys some tips I learned in the last year doing some interviews. I made more than, I don't remember, 30 or 40 interviews the last year, and I learned a little bit with this training, okay, this live training. So guys, please enjoy this conversation and we will talk again soon, okay? So let me check it will work. Guys, you received some invite, everyone? Bel, Juliana, Mariana, e Tamara. Okay. Everyone is in there. All right. I think I can close this window. And you, Leandro, Katiana, to start our conversation, I would like both of you introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Paixão. I'm living in Vitória, Espírito Santo. I'm 39 years old. I'm a Maria. I have a little daughter. The name of my daughter is Ana Carolina. My daughter have 5 years and have many energy like other kids. And I'm engineer. I work with engineer. I think it's almost in these years is 15 years, almost 16, 15 and 16 years. But now I work with projects in the oil and gas sector. I start in TALKNTALK in April last year. And because I need to improve more my conversation in English, it's important in my job and my family. I have plans for living in the other place in the future, and the English is important for me because of this.
All right, that's awesome. I remember you from other conversations. So let me mute the YouTube because he is going crazy. And you, Leandro, can you introduce yourself, please?
Okay, guys. Thank you. Good morning. I live in Santo André, next to São Paulo. I 36. Nowadays, don't work. I study. I'm looking for a new job. I'm looking for jobs in IT. Nowadays, I study technology, data science, and like this. I'm here to practice English, to learn English. I'm considered initiate, not basic, but initiate in speaking. I never spoken before practicing here. I come here a few. I guess we'll complete the one year in March this year. Here I guess it's good to get confidence, to practice, to commit mistakes. It's difficult. I find places that permitted you commit mistakes to practicing. I like this. Okay, I guess it. I guess it only.
And you aren't only initiating English because you talk very well, okay? So this year in TALKNTALK make a good, I think make a good in your development, all right? So my name is Carlos. I'm 32 years old. I had two daughters. One of them made 7 years now in January. So the other one had 2 years. It's 2 years old, so I know the amount of energy children's had, like Tatiana said. And I work as a software engineer too, so a little bit I understand what you are facing right now, Leandro. It's hard, but I will say to you, all your effort because it's a really good profession. For me, at least, it's. I quit my job as a military police, as a police officer, only to work with this, and it's something I'm in love. I love talk about technology, programming language, and those kind of things. So please keep studying. It's good. So guys, let's go to the point of this conversation. Let's start talking about interviews. Okay, and so I would like you start, Leandro, please, can with the number one. Do you usually do job interviews? How often? When was your last interview? I don't know what is your background about this. And in the sequence, can you answer to Kachan, please? Let's go.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't do the interviews with frequency. My last interview was I guess in August last year. Uh, was to get an internship. I passed in the interview. I did some tests, but have um, a few positions, and I passed in some, but one person was more prepared. I guess the English wasn't the one of the requisitions that I don't I was not too good to speak. Um, the person need some people more I don't know, more advanced. Yeah. But it's parts of the people the like looking for a jobs need be prepared to sometimes you don't get the position, but I guess you can learn learn with this, and the other opportunity you can be better. Yeah. uh, I I sometimes in the last year, um, I guess before the pandemic, is I did more interviews because my mind is to get jobs in the other career, and the career that I was I have a few I have more experience, and I apply for many opportunities, and I did many interviews, but
Yeah.
for my new achieves, not it's not common. Yeah.
Yeah, when we had more experience, it's more easier to get interviews, but I know the feeling lost opportunity because your English isn't perfect. I lost one, and this bring me light to, man, I need to study English, and this is the reason I'm here. I lost a really, really good opportunity to work abroad. And you, Kachan, what do you think about this? Do you like doing interviews? How often you do this? And when was your last interview? Why you are here today to talk about interviews? It's a lot
Um,
of questions, and you don't need answer all of them, but it's only to put your mind on this way.
yes, it's interesting point because I'm a I have an experience in my job. I'm engineer. I work with engineers with 15 years. But the engineers changed a lot before the pandemic. And now I'm looking for the positions with technology, because now in engineer it's very common in the company where I work, using Python, Power BI, Power Apps, and the other things. 4 or 5 years ago, it's not common, these things. And now, if I have a possibility for do an interview, I every time I do, because I think it's important for your training, your listen, and stay connect with the things who the companies needs. And in my case, I do interviews because I have plans for changing for the data science in the future. And now I study more Python and building a portfolio, because I have plans for changing, and I do many interviews in English and understand this point. It's my I very fraca, how do you say fraca?
Week.
Weak in this point. And after this, I stood more and stay more in talking, because the English it's necessary for many positions outside to Brazil. And you make it when you have English, for example, the doors is open for you, because the companies in the other countries need a talent a lot, because you don't have good employers in other countries. The companies need the talent. And in Brazil, for example, the we work very well. The Brazilians work very well. The companies, for example, looking for the engineers in Brazil because have experience. Uh, Sometimes it's more cheaper when you. Sometimes no, I think it's for the USA, for example, is very cheaper. One when you using a talent in the South American. And for us, it's interesting, because for us, when you have a payment in dollar, for example, you receive more when you compare the companies.
Yeah, I think this is the main reason a lot of people here in Brazil are studying English. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right. I think this is the reason because everyone, I listen a lot of people hearing talk and talk about this. I would like to gain in dollar, I receive my payments in dollar, because I know for the other countries, maybe we are cheaper for them, but man, I don't care if I'm earning only 5K per month, but it's 5K in dollars, and maybe if this it's a low salary to a citizen in USA, but for me it's good, it's 5K with the fluctuation of the dollar in Brazil. This can vary every month, but it's at least more than 25K in Brazil. And who earns this in Brazil? Judge, or I don't know how to say, delegado, something kind like this,
The manager, I think, in the very high companies like Coca-Cola and the
Yeah,
other companies.
yeah, and this is the reason I bring this conversation, because it's important to be prepared. It's hard when you had experience, you had knowledge, you know how to work, you are training your English, but when you get into an interview, you aren't so prepared, you get nervous, and you start to gaguejar, and you lost this opportunity because you aren't prepared. So let's go to I I didn't answer this, but I usually do interviews with frequency, even I'm working in a job I like, in a company I like, because I like to, I learn a lot doing interviews, what technology it's important to that company, what I had to learn now, what point I had to invest more my time and my efforts. I learned a lot of things to interview, like how to to stay in an online interview. I usually put my hand on my face, and a guy from England say this to me, man, in the end of the interview, man, you are good, you had experience, but please be had attention with this when you put your hand on your face, looks like you are bored, and this is the reason I'm not happy with this interview, and we will continue, because we are here in Talk and Talk looking to a job opportunity to work abroad, but there is thousands and thousands of Brazilians looking to this. And a little mistake can make the difference in you being contracted than other one. So let's go to the question number. I think we can skip the question number 2. Let's go to the question number 3. What are some questions asked you during a job interview? The most common or the type of questions people ask to you. Let's start with you, Katiana. Can you start, please? When you make your last interview, do you remember some questions the interviewer made to you?
Yes, I remember. I remember the tech recruiters asked me about my other jobs and the experience in these jobs, and the tech recruiter asked me about uh, the soft skills, many soft skills I have, uh, uh, and the connection between the soft skills and the job. And I think it's this no we talking more about the experience, and in this interview it's interesting. The tech recruit asked me where what's the reason I'm engineer and have plannings for changing for the technology. And in this interview I speak for it and explain for the tech recruiter the things engineers is change a lot. It's not today it's not possible you're separate the engineer and the technology, because now in the engineers it's necessary use many things with technology. And I think the way it's the engineers more and more using technology. And I think I remember this in this interview.
All right, all right. So it's more related to your soft skills and how this could help the company. You are changing your career and how you put this in practice. All right. And you, Leandro, do you remember you told us your last interview was in August last year, but do you remember the
Yeah,
main questions the interviewer, the recruiter asked to you?
yeah, but one more common for me, what's your strengths or weakness? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
difficult to answer that and answer that in in Portuguese. Nossa, yes, it's so difficult to say this in English. Answer. What's your weakness? Or strengths too. You need to did some. You need to say something very specifically. For example, many people say that I am a perfectionist. It's not good. Perfectionist person. You can,
Yeah.
I guess you can say, yeah, I analyst. I am a person reflect. I don't know. I think a person. Okay, but perfectionism is not too a good. So good. Have a lot of questions that it's more common. Say about your great your biggest goal in your last job, or say some conflicts that you need to solve. Yeah. Or tell us about your I don't know, if you is a worker, team worker, for example, if you need,
Yeah.
if you like to work with a team, many questions is more common, I guess. But
Yeah.
when you need to speak about your feelings is more, for me it's difficult. About
Okay.
weakness or strongs is I guess Achilles. I don't know qualquer Achilles.
It's your low strength. I don't
Yeah,
know how
yeah.
to say this.
My weakness.
Oh, yeah,
My
your weakness. Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Uh, you say something really interesting because how can I say? Here in Brazil, it's more common. The interviewers asking for this: what is your strength? What is your weakness? But my experience with interviewers from other countries, they don't put uh, how can I say, a lot of attention in this type of questions, but they are more direct. What do you do in your what you are doing this job? What made you a successful programmer and those kind of things? And they go around these questions to try to extract your weakness and your strengths. For me, it's related to this. I listen a lot of these questions: my strength, my weakness, what was my biggest achievement in this or that project, and what I'm looking for the next 5 years in my career. I'm getting a little bit older, and what are my plannings in the future? Those kind of things. But we aren't here with Katiana. It's the only woman here, but in the other room we had more women. But one thing I listen very often about girls doing interviews. They told me about this. They always ask if women had plans to get children's, if they had children's, how they manage the cares of the children's and those kind of things. This is a little bit boring for the girls, I know, but sometimes this happen, unfortunately. Okay, so let's go to the question number 5. What tips you usually put in practice during job interviews? Do you have any tip for us? What it's you can say for us to give us a tip for the next interview I can make, or you, Leandro, or you, Kachan? What do you say about this, Leandro? Do you have any advice for us?
Okay, I am not a good person did some tip. I guess prepared some before the prepare before the interview. Looking for search about the company that you applied, the position. If you need do some specifically that you a lot of time you don't use. For example, some maths for my area. I guess some mathematics that I know, but a lot of time I don't use, and I need to practice something because I know it's a will maybe we'll have some test after the interview or some asks. Become atualized in your area. The technology is good, but it's so fast to you. The things change very fast. You need to become more actualized that you can. I guess my advice is be prepared. Try if you have a recruiter, try talk with recruits about the position, what expectations about the company, what kind of professional the company would like. And if this position is for you, I guess you get. That's it.
All right. All right. It's good tips, and thank you. Maybe you think, oh, I don't have so many experience to give for anyone some advice, but everything you say, it's true. You have to know the company you are trying to get a job offer, and believe me, the recruiter knows when you are lost in that interview. This happened to me. I go to interview, and that time I was doing 3 or 4 interviews per week, sometimes 2 interviews in the same day. I got in an interview. I didn't know about the company, what was the company I was doing interview that time. I didn't know nothing about the position. It was so embarrassing, because the guy looked to my face and they know it. I was lost, they start to ask me, man, do you know do you read the job description? Do you know it was you who applied to this job interview, or was other person who made this for you? I think the guys start to think I was that kind of how can I say, Indiano, this is common. You don't believe this, but it's common. People paying to other people do interviews, contract someone to do an interview. And I think in that moment, that guy think I was something like this because I was completely lost. And you, Katiana, you had some advice for us to be how to prepare or to do or to practice a job interview?
I think study more about the company. It's the basic, And before you do an interview, you need looking for the how this company work and the way this company running. And I think one thing it's very important is connect your the values. I think it's values who the company have with your values. I think valores is values, correct?
Yeah.
And make a connection between these things And I think it's important connect your how I can resolve this problem, because all the companies in the world need for the people who resolve problems, and I think the connect how I resolve the problems in the company, who what the hard skills and soft skills I have for put in this position, and the reason for the tech recruiters or the recruiters choose me between the other talents, and how I resolve the problem, the big problems in the company, because I think the point is about this, how I resolve the problem, how I'm different between the other talents for resolve problem. I think when I explain my talents with this, I think the recruiters and the company looking for the talents with the other eyes, because in the past I'm a boss, and now I'm not a boss more. Eu sou um índio, eu só recebo ordem. But when in the past I have a big team. I have 12 people in my team. In that time, I looking for the people who resolve problems in my team. Who these people it's different between the other people, and who these people resolve problems, because I think in the world you have two kinds of people: the people who have, the kind of people resolve problems, and the kind of people don't understand about the problems and make the other problems, and the companies, the boss, and the every people in the world looking for the people who resolve problems. Explain about this in the interview. I think the possibility for your do a make a very good interview. I think it's it's important. I remember one tip, and I think it's important because it's very common. Now in the past, I looking for the candidates in the eyes, but now I stay in front of the computer. But I remember one tip, one very good tip is when you stay with the recruiter, and sometimes the recruiter stay with the mind in the other place, and you you need tell for the name for the recruiter, because you have the attention, 100% of the attention of the recruiter. I accept this tip, and I think it's important.
Yeah, of course, it's important, when you are connected with the interviewer. And I believe, the interviewer can know how people are, how can we say, a little bit lost during the interview, those kind of things, because I experienced this. So my tips are related to this: to be prepared, to study the company, at least, if possible, 30 minutes before the interview. You already be prepared with everything open in your mind, to you don't lose yourself during the interview. Get nervous, it's the worst part. When you get nervous, you lost everything. You don't think in a clear way, and you make a lot of mistakes during the interview. Okay, so guys, we are running out of time, so let's go to the question number 7 and 8, and I will resume the question number 7. Isn't a question, we had 2 minutes to answer the question number 8, okay? You, Katiana, and you, Leandro, will answer to me like an interviewer, okay? And let's go to a little bit about this, okay? So I will start with you, Leandro. You had 2 minutes, and if you answer less than 2 minutes, it's okay, but maybe this can be looked at in a bad way doing an interview, but if you pass a lot, then 2 minutes, this isn't good too. So try to do your best to stay in 2 minutes. If you pass, I will interrupt you, okay? So Leandro, what is the most interesting project you have worked, and what accomplishments are you most proud of? So please answer this. What is the most interesting project and your accomplishments in that job? Please start.
Okay. My most important, I guess, is not because the project, but the solution that I need to solve. The company sold some products. This product needed a recall, but have a conflict in the client, a big client. In the client my company was not matching in the accord. I needed interfere. I need negotiate things. The client is so angry, and will break the contract because that some things with to justice, and I need to interfering. I did some solutions to don't put it for the process in this company before my interference. Make other contract, a millionaire contract, and buy products for my more five constructions, I guess. I know I was not a sailor. Okay, I'm not a sailorman. I was a technician, but it's my most achieved, I guess. Was so important. I received some congrats about.
All right, Leandro, thank you for your time. If we are in an interview, the interviewer, you jump to the next question. And when we are interrupted, this start to make us more nervous, and this is the reason I'm trying to simulate this here. I know it isn't perfect, but I'm doing my best. And you, Katiana, please, what is the most interesting project you have worked at and your biggest accomplishment in there? Please start.
I think the best project I'm work with a big project in the oil and gas company, and now I need to building a new ship, and in this ship you have different technology, and I looking for the safety, health, and environmental technique, and put these things in the project, and we looking in this project for the opportunities for digitalization twins in the technology, who the technology improve the safety and health in the ship. And it's very interesting because it's disruptive in the oil and gas sector, and we're looking for a different disruptive technology in this project. It's very different and interesting. For example, we look in this project for the wind farm, Fazenda de Ventos, in this project, and it's very different. And I need to study more for do these things in this project. I remember this because it's very different.
All right, that's good. That's good. You go to the main point and you don't make a short answer and don't make a longer answer. And this is good. So congratulations. Maybe we had time to do another one. So let's go to the question number 10. Okay. I will start with you, Katiana, and the next I will go with you, Leandro, but now we will have less time. We will have only 1 minute, okay? Katiana, how would you rate his or her overall, how would you rate her overall performance in that job on a 1 to 10 scale? All right, think about this. How you grade yourself in this job in a scale from 1 to 10. What qual nota você dá para você mesmo in the last job? Okay, and can you start, please?
I think in the last job I have the rate 8 because I think and understand it's necessary for all the people study more and every moment improve our skills. And I understand in my last job if I have the power of technology with Python, Power BI, and the other things, I think I make my job more easier and make more many things more easier. I think because of this, I think my note is 8 because I understand who it's very important desenvolver-se. How do you say desenvolver-se?
Evolve, I don't know.
Yes, every day and every moment.
All right, thank you, Katiana. Thank you so much for your time. I know this hurt our feelings, being interrupted. But I would ask you, Leandro, what grade you rate yourself in a scale from 1 to 10, your last job, please, 1 minute.
Okay, I guess 8 because I worked a lot. I worked because I needed to resolve many problems. I solved my problems, the other problems. I worked more than I needed. I was a good worker for this. I solved problems in my problems and the problems of the company. I wore the here, let's say that I wore the shirt. Okay, the company. I don't know if have expression in English, but that's it. For me, I regret about don't manage so best my time, personal time, because that I become so stressful.
All right, thank you, Leandro. I know it's so frustrating, when you are talking and someone interrupt you, this break your mind and you maybe lost yourself in your answer and you start to think, man, I'm going good or I'm going bad, I don't know. Okay, so guys, you come back from the breakout room. I would listen what you think about the conversation. We had a short time and I want to share with you 3 tips before we end. Please, Mariana, how was the conversation for you in there?
It was very good, very. I learned a lot with the girls, and I think I'm more prepared to the next interviews.
All right. And you, Belle, I know you aren't doing interviews because you work in the Air Force, but you could simulate this situation, do interviews or not. You achieved the question 7, 8, 9, 10. How was?
Yeah, it was amazing, was awesome because I don't have experience yet. I just have one job interview, but I told about my test because I have English tests sometimes. But I learned a lot with Juliana, Mariana, Tamara. And by the way, Tamara, yes, sorry. Tamara have one job interview the next week. So we we tried training with Tamara. Yeah, and I hope that a good interview the next week. And by the way, too, I put in the chat one link about one job interview and the Heineken, yeah, the beer. It's not a usual interview, yeah, it's different. There are a different situation, and it's a good video, and that's it. Was amazing. I really like about that stuff.
All right. I would say thank you, everyone. It was a good conversation. Before I end the conversation, I told you I would like to share. This sound a little bit strange, but I want to share a little bit about my experience doing interviews. Last year, I made 43 interviews. Are you seeing my screen or not?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a spreadsheet I made to control my interviews, the time, what was the result. Last year, I made a webinar teaching me about how prepare my LinkedIn to get more interviews, and this worked so well because I made from August to September, I made 43 interviews, and in this company I was contracted. So it's really good when you are prepared. Other tip that I have, so the first one is this: control yourself, do interviews, make some notes about the company, what you think about this. I refuse, and why you refuse. This one was a good interview, but my English don't help me, and so write everything about your interviews. What you feel about the interviewer, he was in a good mood, a bad mood, how was your mood in the end of interview. Those kind of things help you to prepare to the next one and the next one and the next one. Okay. The other tip that I have is some questions I make to the interviewers. You know, when you ask the interviewer something, especially on the second and third interview you are doing for the same company, this shock the interview. You know, I make some questions about this, and the interviewer, I inverted the position. No, there is this expression here in Brazil: eu aluguei apartamento na cabeça do interview, because he told me, man, anyone in my life asked me this during an interview, and this make me go and be contracted in this company I'm working right now. All right. It was this question: what kind of employees tend to be successful in the company? All right. What type of person I need to be a successful employee? And those questions are important. You had to know what the company do to make profit. You want to know how is the day-to-day of your work. You want to know what is the main challenge you are being contracted, how to be successful, and if the company had some career plans. Maybe this question can be answered during the interview, but you can reformulate the question to achieve this result. And the other one, you had to know your history. We talk about this, what is your best skills and your your strengths, your weakness, but the interviewers ask about your experience and your job in everything. So I made this mapa mental, all right? This mental map, I don't know, because people ask this, what was my greatest achievement, what I do good or bad in the interviewer, who was my boss in that interview, how I could talk about that boss, was someone I could good or bad. So these are good tips who helped me being contracted in this situation. So I know that company, man. It's here. Okay. So I start on LinkedIn and I was contracting in LinkedIn. Okay, guys. I feel a little bit the conversation was too fast and we didn't have time to practice the interview. So maybe the next week, we could talk about this again and with more time to prepare and simulate the interview. Okay, so I send the link of the survey in the chat. Please answer, and if you want to talk about this again, if you want more time to practice this, please answer the survey, and I will prepare this with more time. Maybe ask someone on my company who work with HR department to help us in this kind of situation. If you think it's interesting, please. I will send the link. Okay, the questions. Wait a minute. I know we passed the time, but it's fast. I send it now. Okay, the questions, guys. Please go answer the survey. I will give.